All right, folks, what is going on? This is episode 303 of the First and Frame Rate Show. I am BF Baller, and man, with all the trades that's been going on in the NFL recently with quarterbacks, I already saw it. I've seen it on Twitter. I'm not going to call any names, but I've seen a lot of people talk about this, and I'm going to address this today. I was going to talk about something else, pertaining to the Falcons, but I got to talk about this again. So we're going to get into it. Welcome to the First and Frame Rate Show. If this is your first time here, welcome. I really appreciate it that you take the time to listen. And over here, we talk about Georgia Southern and Atlanta Falcons football. Like everything under the umbrella, we basically talk about. Not much has been going on with the Georgia Southern Eagles as they prepare for spring football. I can't wait to get that up and running, and I can talk about that because I will be down there to the spring game on April 23rd. I will be down there, so if anybody's in the Statesboro area who listen to the content or follow me on Twitter, if you want to hang out for a little while, talk some football, watch some football, evaluate what we see on the field, more than welcome. You know, I'm nobody, but in my opinion, I don't feel like I'm anybody special, but I would love to talk football with people who want to talk about football, especially about Georgia Southern. So I will be down there. My wife and son probably be there too, but I will be down there for the most part talking about Georgia Southern and watching Georgia Southern football. So that's just going to be a fun time. So April 23rd, mark it for the spring game. Also, if this is your first time, like I said, I'm also on not only just on the visual platforms, YouTube and Rumble. You can also listen to me on Anchor, Stitcher, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Google Podcasts. So you don't have to watch this podcast if you don't want to. You can listen to it at your own leisure, and you just have it available at any time. If you hit the subscribe button, you'll be notified whenever I put up any content. Also, if you hit the auto download button, it'll automatically download for you on some of these podcast avenues. I think that's pretty convenient. Also, last but not least, if you want to help this podcast grow, you can hit any of those donation buttons down there or any of those links. All of that will be much appreciated. All right, let's go ahead and get into this. Enough of the rambling. Enough of the paying the bills and all this other good information. No, we should not trade Matt Ryan. Stop it. I know the Russell Wilson trade sounds enticing. I know the Carson Wentz trade, which I don't think that the Washington Commanders now, I don't think they got a good deal in that one, but nevertheless, no. Even though that happened, no. Let's keep our quarterback until it's much more viable to get rid of him. Now, a lot of people say, oh, it's a good time now. You know, people are giving up first-round picks and this, that, and the third. I mean, let's think about it. Who are we going to replace Matt Ryan if we do trade him? I mean, I don't see anything with Kenny Pickett. I don't see much with Malik Willis. I think they're great quarterbacks, but I don't think we start over with them. I believe we have our quarterback. There's no reason to do any of that. I know there's a lot of people out here saying, that you caping for Matt Ryan, or people that hating on Matt Ryan. I don't do either or. If Matt Ryan's playing bad, it's time to go. But I feel with the salary cap situation and the production that Matt Ryan has, I don't see there's a viable reason to get rid of him. I just don't. You know what I'm saying? It's just not now. I think he played pretty well last year under the circumstances. You give him a receiver or two, it'd be a different story. Hell, if you give him a couple of receivers and you probably win 2 or 3 more games, now we're talking about a 10-17. A team that won 10 games. You know what I'm saying? So it's not just that cut and dry that, oh, you mad because he wasn't able to get us over the hump earlier in his career with the NFC Championship loss and making it to the Super Bowl, and we know what happened there. No, he's still a viable quarterback. I think you get some pieces around him, preferably at the receiver position. I think he'd be fine. I don't understand why people continuously go and want to pile on Matt Ryan. Does Matt Ryan make mistakes? Absolutely. And I'm already 4 minutes in, and I know people probably are upset about me saying these things about Matt. because a lot of the Falcons fan base want to get rid of him, and they think they can find value. Listen, if there was value in this draft, I would probably be on board. Probably be on board. But like I said, I don't see any. We got the number 8 pick. I don't see the next Peyton Manning. I don't see the next big quarterback coming out of this draft. Hell, I didn't see it last year. And a lot of people was high on Justin Fields. Now, Justin Fields may have a bounce back season. He may do well. But I didn't see it in the situation that we were in Atlanta, where you're going to give up $40-something million. And I don't think it was like $40 million at the time. But you want to give up a big cap hit to get Justin Fields here. I don't see how that was viable at the time, because, yeah, you probably would have had both of them on the bench, but you still would have had to make a decision at some time. So I understand. Now, if you really wanted to go after the quarterback at the time, last year, if you really wanted, I would have said go after Davis Mills out of Stanford. Now, he's with the Texans, and they're already talking about him probably being the starter for the Texans. Now, I would have been on board getting a quarterback late. I had no problem with that. But to get somebody in here to be a starter right away, no. And definitely this year, no. We have a situation now where we can really build for Matt Ryan the next couple, 3 years. A lot of people don't want to think about that. They think we're in a rebuild mode. Now, what are we rebuilding from? What are we rebuilding from? If you think about it, everything that has happened in the past 2 years was a indirect rebuild. We lost number 11. We lost number 18 now. A couple other guys that was here are gone. Alex Mack, he's gone. We had a couple of offensive linemen gone. Devontae Freeman gone. What's the other guy name? Number 26. The other running back. Tevin Coleman gone. Austin Hooper gone. So this was like an indirect rebuild already. You know what I'm saying? So what are we doing here? We basically have a fairly young team outside of Matt Ryan, and who's the next oldest person? Honestly, that's on the team. Jake Matthews. Jake Matthews has been fairly productive, just as well as Matt Ryan. So I'm not buying into trading somebody to get a bunch of picks for a quote unquote rebuild. Yeah, it's good to have more picks, but look, the worst thing that could happen for people who want to do that was a 7-10 season, because you're literally 2 games away of making the playoffs. At one point, you were still in the playoff hunt until you lost the game against the 49ers. If we would have won that game against the 49ers, it would have been a totally different story for the rest of the season. It could have turned the entire season around. So I'm just looking at it on the server. I don't have any links up. I'm just talking off the side of my head right now while I'm telling you how I feel. And I know it's funny because I had a Michael Vick shirt on. I know that's kind of crazy, right? But I like this. This is one of my favorite Michael Vick, get-ups that I actually had. You know what I mean? I admit I'm a huge Michael Vick fan and supporter, but I know that he wasn't the guy that would get us where we got to. And the whole situation with him, who wants to relive 06, 07, 08, I mean, who wants to do that? But that's another story for another day. But I just don't understand why people would want to continuously talk about this. I mean, we got cap space now. We're going to get more cap space. You know what? Really, when you think about it, I think once again, I feel that I feel like Terry Fontenot and company doing a really good job of what they have here. I will be highly surprised if they even think about trading Matt Ryan. I don't see that happening. They like who they have. They said it, but at the end of the day, they said they don't want to back themselves in the corner. But I just don't see where they're going to do what they to make that drastic change. I think what they have here is a pretty good nucleus between Ryan, Fontenot, and Smith. I think they have a really good nucleus right there, and I think they can continue to work on what they have for the next 2 or 3 years. I mean that. Am I tripping? Do I don't know what I'm talking about? I mean, let me know, because if everybody want to sit here and say that Matt Ryan needs to be traded, what's the solution? We just gonna get a bunch of picks? I mean, I already just explained this. I think we already been through a indirect rebuild already. So therefore, I don't see where the whole situation where we need to get other players for other young players. I think all the older players that we had, that outside of what Matt Ryan, Jake Matthews, who was around for 28-3, Deion Jones. Deion Jones was what, a rookie? Or was on his first year or something like that? Isaiah Oliver, I don't even know if Isaiah Oliver was there at the time. I don't even think he was. Yeah, pretty much everybody from that era is going, unless if it's somebody, I don't know, Grady Jarrett obviously was there. But I just don't understand what are we doing here? Yeah, I understand. Carson Wentz, Russell Wilson. They're talking about Jimmy Garoppolo is probably going to get traded to the Colts because they got rid of Wentz. But I don't see where Matt Ryan has a $48 million cap hit. Who's going to take that cap? Now, the Colts could, because I think they're like $70 million under the cap. I don't think they make that move. I don't think they make that move for Matt Ryan. Look, this entire episode will stay where it is, and I still stand by it. We should not trade Matt Ryan. I just don't see it happening. I don't see them getting rid of Carson Wentz and turn around and get Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan is older than Wentz. I just don't see that. No, I don't. And you think about it, they tried it with Phillip Rivers already, with getting an older veteran. They tried that already. So I don't see that happening. I'm thinking of any other teams. I don't think there's any other team that's out there that could do it, that could pull it off. What teams out there now that could want a veteran quarterback? The Steelers. I don't see the Steelers doing that. I just don't. I probably see the Steelers going through the draft to try to get a quarterback in the first round. That's just my opinion. I don't see them trying to. I will be highly surprised if they do that. But regardless, I still stand by it. We should not trade him. No. If we do trade him, I'll be here tomorrow talking about that. But I don't see the Falcons doing that unless it's a complete offer that they can't refuse. I mean, I'm talking about like a Russell Wilson type of deal. Now I will say this: if they do a Russell Wilson type of deal, I can see why the Falcons do it, but I don't think they should do it because you don't have anybody behind Matt Ryan to do so. Like what quarterback going to come in and be that solid? I don't think there's no other quarterback that can come in right now and give you the same production. I just don't see that. You see what's happening in Seattle. They just got Drew Lock, and I like Drew Lock, but Drew Lock is no Russell Wilson. Excuse me. Still Russell Wilson. So I just don't see it. I mean, I don't know. I think really, if you can get a quarterback late in the draft, do it. Because I'm not sold on Felipe Franks. AJ McCarron coming back from an ACL, he may not come back as a Falcon. Josh Rosen, I don't know about Josh Rosen. Josh Rosen disappointed me when I felt like he had a chance to do something, and every time they put him in the game, he made things worse. But that kind of was expected at the end of the day because that's who he is. I think Felipe Franks has a lot of upside, but I just don't know. I don't know. I think he could go through some more polish and see what happens there. Maybe in a couple of years, he'll be the heir apparent and nobody has to be worrying about this whole situation about Matt being traded. I just don't see it. And the entire time I'm talking to you guys, I'm looking at other teams. I'm thinking about other teams that could possibly be a viable option if this was the case. Um, nah, I just don't see it. I'm still thinking like what teams. I don't see it. I think Matt Ryan's good where he is. We're obviously not going to trade him within the division. I mean, that's crazy. Why would you do that? And if they trade him, I don't think they'll trade him anywhere in the NFC. Why would you do that? I mean, the Seahawks already talking about trying to get Deshaun Watson, so maybe that would have been a pretty good look if the Falcons would have traded 1-for-1. But Deshaun Watson got other issues on his hand. I don't know what's going on with that, and I don't want to go there. Not in this episode. Um, I'm literally trying to think what team. I just don't see it. Because I feel that Matt Ryan at the age is what 36, 30, he'll be 37. He's good for at least another 2 years. Just let this ride out. Especially if we got decent cap space to get some people. You get like an Amari Cooper, or you may even want to re-sign Russell Gage. Then now you're talking. You do that, then you get your draft picks in here. Now you may be talking. You got a team that's set up to actually be successful because, like I said, they won 7 games last year. You got a couple games going your way. You're in the playoffs. If you had certain personnel on the field to actually make plays, you're in the playoffs. So, no. Once again, I don't think we should trade Matt Ryan. We should not trade Matt Ryan. And I'll be highly surprised if it happens. I don't know why people are so obsessed with doing this. I just don't get it. Why? What is it about the Falcons and Matt Ryan? Well, I don't even need to ask that question. We know why people want to get Matt Ryan traded. But I just don't see any value in it if you did. I don't even know what the quarterback's going to look like, but for next year, maybe there'll be a better crop of quarterbacks come in, and then you may want to look into that. But unless Matt Ryan has a phenomenal season this year, his trade value is not going to be as good as you think it is. I don't even think his trade value is actually that good now. And it's not because of his ability. I think it's because of his salary. I mean, the Colts did a phenomenal job moving Carson Wentz to Washington, and they're taking that $28 million with them. They're taking on that $28 million. So that's a really good look. What team are you going to find out that could take the $48 million from Matt Ryan? I think it's an honest question. If a team do it and the Falcons agree to it, I'm like, wow, really? It just happened? I don't think it should happen, and I don't think it will happen. I'm always available to stand corrected. I have no problem with that. I don't have a problem with being wrong, because my opinion is my opinion, and I'm okay with having an opinion. But if my opinion is like, hey, we should not do it, and they do it, I'm like, okay. It sucks. It will really suck, but okay. You got to eat crow every now and then. But I just don't see this happening. This will be, I don't think it'll be terrible, but we'll end up having a couple of terrible seasons because I don't see nobody coming in that could deal with this team the way it's assembled. Even if we get some good pieces of free agency, I feel that Matt Ryan is the guy that will continuously lead this team the way it is. I think he's more than capable. Let me know what you guys think. I don't have much more to say. This basically my quick little rant of an episode. No, we should not trade Matt Ryan. I know the Carson Wentz situation. I know the Russell Wilson situation sounds really good right now. They're in the market to getting some veteran quarterbacks. Hey, maybe we can get in there and get a draft pick or 3, and we can get a couple first rounders and another player and 2 second rounders. Yeah, no, no. No. Let me know what you guys think. Am I tripping? Are you guys on point with this? Do you think some things need to be said about my opinion that's a little bit different, but you're still on the same page? You disagree fundamentally? You want to let me know? Let me know in the comment section. Hit the like button, share, subscribe to this channel. All the platforms that this podcast is available. Subscribe to any of those. Let people know what I'm doing over here by sharing. When you subscribe, hit the auto download. So this episode and other episodes in the future will automatically download and be ready for you to listen to. If you want to if you want to help support the channel in this podcast, the donation links are down in the description. I will see you guys on the next one. And you guys enjoy the rest of your Thursday. Hopefully we have another topic where I don't rant. I guess not. I don't know. We'll see what happens. All right, y'all. Y'all take it easy. Y'all be blessed. Peace.